You don't ever want to be that couple in front of a group. There's always that couple who are always bickering, fighting in a group setting. They make everyone uncomfortable. No one is going to say anything. They're basically just known as that couple who always fight. They make outings unpleasant. They make people not want to like be around them. And honestly, they as time progresses, they start getting excluded from group activities because no one wants to deal with that. Especially
Hello and welcome to Kitchen Table Advice. My name is Paula and I am the host of this podcast. This podcast is a place where you can ask for any advice you want. It can be relationship, both platonic or romantic, career advice, or life advice. I wanted to create a space where people could ask questions without fear of rejection. I can't guarantee it will be good advice, but I can guarantee there will be no shame on my end. Your name will be anonymous and your identity will always be kept a secret. This is not professional advice, and I am not a licensed therapist or psychologist, and you are under no obligation to take this advice. Just think of this as advice you would get from a close friend on a kitchen table. So, let's begin.
hello, my wonderful gems. How are you? I hope you're doing amazing. If you're a returning gem, welcome back. If you're new here, hello. Sets out the vibe. If you like what you're listening to, then please feel free to subscribe, give this video a like, and as usual, we'll just jump into the first story of the episode. The title is My Boyfriend Doesn't Treat Me Well in Front of His Friends. That's very telling. But anyways, here we go. I am a 28-year-old woman and I'm writing in regarding my boyfriend, a 30-year-old man. We've been together for more than 3 years and I've always gotten along very well with his friends. We've been vacationing together, spent a lot of time in lockdown together, and it was super fun. However, I feel like it's been maybe 1 or 2 years, parentheses past the honeymoon phase, that he became more distant with me when his friends are around. He will not he will not care to be physical with me. He will rather listen to his friends than me, and in general prioritize them when we're all together. Recently, he even started to dismiss me or talk bad to me in front of them when things get a bit tense between us, instead of keeping calm and saving the discussion for later. This behavior seemed to affect how his friends act with me, and I feel like they're less nice and polite to me than they used to be. His best friend tends to be rude to me and talk to me a bit badly sometimes. I try to chew it off and not take it personally, but I think about it often. Besides, they treat me less well than they treat other friends' girlfriend or other common friends, and I find it a bit shocking to be on. Wait, choking? Shocking to be honest. On my side, my friends have always treated him well and are always polite to him and friendly, always complimenting him or joking with him. When my friends organize something, I always ask my boyfriend to tag along, which he doesn't necessarily do when his friends organize something. It makes me feel a bit like an idiot and like I'm not worthy of being treated nicely. I've tried to somehow talk about it with him, but he doesn't understand slash agree with me as usual. We're just gonna jump into the advice, and I'm having a brain freeze. I don't know what to think. I feel like there's a lot of stuff missing here, a lot of stuff missing, but I'm gonna try to dissect this as much as I can. But I I feel like with something like this, you could have provided a little bit more context, but okay. So, where do we start? Okay, so you say okay, so when the problem is when you're around his friends. It seems like the problem is when you're around his friends. So he's more distant when his friends are around and he won't be physical with you and will rather listen to his friends than you and prioritize them when they're all together. Um, I don't really know if that's true, or even if it is, it's like I don't know. This might be a difference. This might be a cultural difference or whatever. But it's if his friends are around. Wait. So I want to go back. So you guys have vacation together and spend a lot of time doing lockdown together. do you guys live together? I guess that would be my first question. And if you do, of course he's gonna prioritize his friends when they're around. He doesn't see them every day. He sees you every day. Like, not to be mean, but yeah. I mean, it makes sense for him to prioritize his friends that he doesn't see every day. Whereas you, as your partner, he sees you every day. I'm not saying he should be treating you badly, obviously, but his friends are guests in your house and it makes sense for him to host them. Like, I don't actually understand where that problem comes from. So I don't know if he's just being a jerk or he's being a host, which is why I would like way more context in this. And well, it obviously seems like you're interpreting his gesture as being a jerk, which is why you also added on that he generally prioritizes them over you when you're all together. But then again, it's also like we need context. If you're living together with your partner and his friends are coming to visit like once a month or twice a month, it would make sense for him to cater to his friends when you're all together. He sees you every day. It's like, I don't really know if that's a priority. But then again, if you're not living with your partner, he should. The thing is, I understand him being a host to his friends given his age. And because it's very, when you get to a certain age, he's 30, she's 28. So I think she should be able to understand this. But some people don't, which is fine. But when you get to a certain age, it's very difficult to keep those friendships. You have to be intentional with your friendships. You have to look at, if any of my friends are listening to it, they're like, girl, you are the most, anyway, I'm cut it out. You have to be intentional with your friendship. You have to actively call your friends, ask about what they're doing, ask about their day, ask to meet up. And not everyone's schedule aligns, so you may just meet up with your friends once a month. If you're lucky, twice a month. I think that's really lucky, but given his age, given that he's in his 30s, given that he may not see his friends on a daily basis. I don't know how many 30-year-olds, or even in her case, a 28-year-old who would see their friends on a daily basis. Basically, once you're done with school, it's very hard to keep up with friends. You if you're not intentional, you don't call your friends regularly, you don't ask about their day. And regularly, it doesn't even have to be every day. It can be once a month, like I said. Okay, some people may not see it as regularly, but others are going to be like, thank you for at least reaching out. Okay, if you don't call your friends regularly, you don't do that, you're going to lose your friends. So it makes sense for him to be a host and for him to cater to his friends that he barely sees on a daily basis. I don't think that's him being a jerk. But then again, if he's talking bad about you in front of his friend and trying to belittle you in front of his friends, that's where the problem lies. So I would really like more context. I would really like more context because I feel like it's not enough for me to just assume, oh, he's a terrible person. It's like there's a lot missing from this. So that's the first part. Now we're going to dive into the second once I found it. So recently he even started to dismiss her or talk bad in front of her or talk bad to her in front of his friends when things get tense between them instead of keeping calm and saving the discussion for later. I agree with you on that front. I definitely agree with you on that. You don't ever want to be that couple in front of a group. There's always that couple who are always bickering, fighting in a group setting. They make everyone uncomfortable. No one is going to say anything. They're basically just known as that couple who always fight. They make outings unpleasant. They make people not want to like be around them. And honestly, as time progresses, they start getting excluded from group activities because no one wants to deal with that, especially when you're old. It's like, I'm tired, I just came back from work, I'm burned out, I don't want to hear you fight with your partner. I really don't. It sounds bad, but hey, it's life. You don't want to be that couple. So I agree with you on saving the discussion for later. However, I'm going to throw the ball back on you in this. Why don't you diffuse stuff between you and save the discussion for later? Why do you expect him to do it? it's, I don't know, when I read that, even though I agree, he should not be dismissing you or talking badly in front of you to his friends. Like I said before, he should not be belittling you, disrespecting you, talking to you any type of way in front of his friends. Absolutely not. And I'm assuming it's because he is talking to you in a certain manner. That's why his best friend feels so emboldened to talk to you in that same manner, which is completely unacceptable. Which is something you stated after that. He should not be talking badly in front of you to his friends. I agree. However, when things are getting tense between both of you, why don't you take the initiative and try to diffuse the situation for later? Did you try to diffuse the situation and he just didn't want to let it go? Or what happened? Again, so many stuff are missing. It's like I just have a piece of the puzzle, but not the whole thing. He shouldn't dismiss you. He shouldn't talk badly in front of you. But did you also try to diffuse the conversation when it got tense and you thought, did you try to diffuse the situation when it got tense and you thought it wasn't appropriate for you to discuss this at this time in front of guests, so you tried to diffuse it, but he kept egging you on? Is that what happened? Or did you just try to keep going with the conversation, but you expected him to diffuse it? It's like, I don't know. You haven't really stated what you said in this situation, so I really don't know how to see it. And the second thing, yeah, his best friend has been rude to you. I think that's just a result from him talking to you all type of ways in front of his friends. Like you said, is he belittling you? Because that's not acceptable. He should not be talking to you like that at all, regardless of whether his friends are there or not, regardless of whether he sees you on a daily basis and he feels more comfortable. He should not be talking to you any sort of way when his friends are present, and even when they're not present. Like, that is not acceptable at all. But yeah, the fact that his own best friend is starting to talk to you badly, that is completely unacceptable. And that is something that you need to tell your partner, and you also need to tell his best friend. Because if you guys are living together, then you have every right for, well, I don't know if you guys are living together. It's like, this is making it so complicated because I'm giving this advice based on you living together. But then if you're not living together, it's a completely different thing. But if you are living together, you have every right to state your opinion about who is coming into your house. And if his best friend is going to talk to you any type of way in your house, absolutely not. He is not coming to this house anymore until he learns some damn manners, okay? So you should be talking to his best friend and say you are not allowed with that type of tone. You should be talking to your partner too. And your partner should be talking to his best friend about it. But there's a lot of stuff missing. I don't know what is happening. There's so many stuff missing. But don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself and to talk to his best friend if you need to. If your partner is not man enough to do that, then you need to be woman enough to go talk to his best friend and say you will not tolerate that type of language. You need to set a boundary right then and there. And what else? I can see how and honestly, if your partner is belittling you, the second sentence, well, the next sentence says, they treat me less than they treat the other girlfriends. And I can kind of see how that could happen if your partner is talking badly to you in front of his friends and belittling you. Basically, he's showing that he does not respect you, and in a way kind of giving them the go ahead to not respect you, whereas the other partners, who I would assume respect their girlfriends and don't talk and don't belittle their girlfriends when they're in a group setting, the other guys would know that this is a boundary to not cross, because even he doesn't talk to his girlfriend like that. I would assume for the other guys, they don't talk badly about their girlfriends in the group setting, which is why your friend group is also not talking badly about their girlfriends. But because your boyfriend for some strange reason is doing that, his friends basically feel emboldened to also talk down to you. It's honestly, it's freaking disgusting. I don't know. People who do that are just disgusting. This is why I hate groupthink. Anyways, we're not even gonna dive into that right now. But okay, so now I'm going to your side. You said on your side, your friends always treat him well, and always nice, polite to him, friendly, which is nice. It's a reflection of your friends and your friend group and how well-rounded and respectful they are. They're complimenting him, joking with him, and this is something that kind of stood out to me. It's like, when my friends organize something, I always ask my boyfriend to tag along, which he doesn't necessarily do when his friends organize something. Okay. I understand what you're saying because you want to get his input. You want to when your friends are organizing something, you are asking him because you want to get his input. You want him to feel included. You don't want him to feel left out. And you want that to be reciprocated, but you need to understand one thing. And this isn't just for your boyfriend, this can be just friendship. You need to tell him how you actually you need to tell him how you receive love. Because I've had a similar situation, and I was actually on the opposite side, on your boyfriend's side, where I would not necessarily initiate because I didn't think it was necessary, but my partner felt like they wanted to be included. Some people just don't have a clue as to how you want to be loved. And I think sometimes we can get in our own heads and expect this person that because they love us, because they respect us, because they have all this admiration for us and they want good stuff for us, they're able to read our minds. That's not necessarily true. I don't know if this is what is going on with your boyfriend. Because again, it doesn't seem like he has the best track record of being a decent person. I don't know why he's talking badly in front of you, in front of his friends. That's so disrespectful and so disgusting. But the part about him not necessarily telling you or inviting you when his friends are organizing something might not be something he's consciously aware of, because not everyone knows. Some people like to be included. And what am I saying? Some people are more open including other people and getting them in because they don't want them to feel left out. Whereas other people are more so like, I don't want to burden you with what I'm going with, so I'm not going to include you. Not necessarily because I don't love you, but because I don't want to impose. If you're doing something else, I'm not going to come with you. I'm not going to come to you with this thing and basically add on to your load, because scary enough, both of those ways of thinking are because you love the other person. You don't want to impose. You don't want to add more to the other person because you love them. You want to lighten their load. And the other person is like, I want to include you. I want you to feel included and I want you to feel welcome. Again, why? Because I love you. Which is why it's important. This is why people say communication is key in a relationship. If it is important for you to feel included, tell your partner, I want to feel included. This is how I feel loved. When you include me in stuff, when you ask for my opinion, even if you've already made your decision. Because some people make the decision, they just go with it. They just want to hear what you have to say. Okay. Some people are like that. But even if you've already made your decision, I just want to feel included. I want to feel like I'm contributing some type of way. So for you, it might just be a communication thing. Like I said, it's just say you want to feel included and you want to feel like contributing. And when he's not including you in stuff that are important to him, you feel left out. You feel like you're not loved. You feel like you're not cherished. If he's a good boyfriend, then he's going to try to do that and try to include you as much as he can. And if you're on the flip side where your partner is like, you don't include me in stuff, you don't tell me about this, you don't tell me about that, you can also explain that, well, I do care about you and I do love you, and me not including you is not necessarily because I don't want you to see this part of me. It's just that I don't want to add on to your load because I know you're going through XYZ or 1, 2, 3. You can just communicate. Basically, the thing is communicate. Okay, this is actually a very common issue where some people feel like they're not included, they're not in a partner's life, and the other person is like, well, I don't want to bother you. I know you're going through a lot. Why am I going to tell you about this when I already know you're dealing with XYZ? Like, that's a crappy thing to do. But anyways, just communicate, have an open conversation where you put everything on the table, and it's going to be fine. Yeah. I think this is just a communication issue. Honestly, this whole thing can be summed up as it's a communication issue. You need to have a heart to heart conversation with your boyfriend and tell him exactly how you receive love. And you don't like that he is just not including you in stuff. You feel left out. You feel like you're not loved. That's definitely one. I've dealt with similar stuff, even though I was on the opposite side. So I know I'm kind of familiar with that territory. So that's one. And another thing is he should not be belittling you in front of his friends. That is absolutely disrespectful. Set a boundary with that. Please set a boundary with that. And he needs to talk to his friends whenever one of them starts talking to you like they don't have sense. Okay? He needs to step up and do that. And the first thing, when you say he puts his friends before you, is it he's putting his friends before you, or is it just like he doesn't see you and he doesn't see them enough and he's playing host? Basically, just communicate. Communicate that you feel as though he's putting his friends before you when they come over. And he can explain himself that maybe he's just being a host. Maybe he is just like he doesn't see his friends every day and he feels like he has to go the extra mile. We feel that way whenever we don't see someone for a long time. We want to cherish every moment we have with them, and sometimes we go overboard. Is he just going overboard, or what's really happening there? Basically, yeah, communicate. I wouldn't necessarily say this is a terrible person and he's a terrible boyfriend. I just think you guys need to talk. You guys need to sit down, have a heart-to-heart conversation, and really talk about what the heck is going on. And you need to tell him that you're not comfortable with this thing, you're not comfortable with that thing, and he needs to also explain his side. Where is he coming from? Is it just him being host? Is it him not trying to burden you? What is it? All right, so that is my advice on the second story, and we're gonna take a break right now. I didn't think that advice was actually going to be long, but it was. We're going to take a break right now, and we're going to come back with the third and last story of the episode. All right, so we are back with our third and last story, and from the title, it seems like it's going to be a long one. Oh gosh. Okay. Anyways, let's just jump in. So the title is, do you think I should make less effort with my sister to improve our relationship? Let's dive in. My younger sister, a 21-year-old woman, and I, a 28-year-old woman, have a pretty unbalanced relationship. I feel like I care about this relationship much more, and I always put her first above my friends and other people in my life. Not in a weird way. I just like talking to her and sharing things with her the most. Oh gosh. However, she, on the other hand, prioritizes her best friend. She does love me, but puts much less effort in our relationship than I do. The issue has started years ago when her and her best friend became very close. I'm not jealous of the relationship, and I don't intend to get involved in that in any shape or form. They're similar in age, and I understand they're close. I, however, prefer my sister to my best friend, parentheses, who I also love. I would like to have a close relationship with my sister. It's usually me who calls and texts. I come up with plans, and whenever she wants to talk, I'm always available. She's very rarely available. Usually responds after a long period of time and often doesn't feel like talking, particularly with myself because I know she does talk to her friend a lot. I've tried many things, and we have also been in therapy together for several months now. Things have improved overall, but I still feel like she doesn't feel the need to be in regular contact with me. I, on the other hand, really care for her, and I would love this to change, and I would love for this to change. I'm starting to think a good thing for me to do would be withdrawing, texting less and paying her less attention. I don't want to be toxic or play games, but I feel like everything else fails. I also feel pretty uncomfortable and upset about always making more effort. So maybe it would be healthiest for me to do less. Please, could you share your thoughts with me? Wow. Oh my gosh. We have used all our breaks, so I'm just gonna dive into the advice. I I can see why you want to withdraw a little bit. However, from this alone, I can tell you very much care for your sister, and you might have a tad bit of an elder sister syndrome. What is that? Oh my gosh. I've seen this a lot, and I'm pretty sure there are also articles about elder sister syndrome where the eldest is usually the eldest daughter, but sometimes it can also be the son. But the eldest child, usually your girl, when the other siblings allow, are basically the attached to being the default third parent. What is that? Whenever parents are dealing with stuff, it falls on the eldest sister to kind of reel in, like, protect her younger siblings, or it falls on her when one parent falls short to aid in the upbringing of the sibling. This can be any ways. Maybe your parents are working hard. This doesn't always have to be with deadbeat parents, by the way. Your parents may be working hard and they're tired, and it would task the eldest sister to take care of the siblings. For example, they're tired and you want to go hang out with your friends. No, you have to stay and babysit. This is just an example. Or you may have to cook for your sisters and brothers. You're basically a third parent, and a lot of parents tend to do this. This has been recorded across cultures by now. A lot of parents tend to do this because of this imaginary thing of girls are more nurturing, yada yada yada. But I've also seen boys fall into this category a little bit when they're the eldest son. But that's still a little bit different from eldest daughter. And what does this result in? I mean, it results in a really weird dynamic between sister and elder sister. Sometimes the youngest sister feel as though the elder sister, is like a second mom to her, even though you're not really the mother, you're there to be her sister. And they feel like they see you in a different light, other than you just being a couple of years older than her. What? Wait. Okay, so she's 28. Her youngest sister is 21. That's a 7-year age gap. Oh yeah, that you are definitely experiencing some elder sister syndrome. So I don't really know what's happening. And you did mention you did go to therapy together. So I don't know if she's expressed how she really views you in her life. Does she view you as a sister or as a mother? Because you have to nip that in the bud right now. You are here to be her sister. You are here to encourage her. Of course, you love her. Of course, you want the best for her. Of course, you may even want to shield her through some stuff, but you need to remind yourself that you are her sister and not her mother. I'm not saying that's what is happening here, but this tends to be the dynamic between older sister, younger sister's relationship. And from what I've said, I mean, it's amazing that you love your sister. It's great. However, I do think withdrawing would help you a little bit. I don't know, I'm assuming, but it seems as though you have kind of formed your identity based on your sister. This is a little bit tough, and this is pure speculation. This is based on what you give me, which is very limited. But it seems as though you have formed the bulk of your relationship based on your sister, based on you forming a good relationship with your sister, based on you understanding your sister. And it doesn't seem like she's doing the same. It seems as though, I don't know, it doesn't seem like she's doing the same. And I can see how this can affect you because you're pouring all this love and adoration, investing in this relationship, and the other partner is not reciprocating it back. I would say withdraw a little bit. And I don't think you withdrawing is going to damage the relationship with your sister, by the way. I don't think so. I do think sister relationship can be very special, and they're so complicated, but they're also very special and very loving and very caring. But listen, it's a whirlwind of stuff, okay? So I'm just going to advise you to withdraw a little bit, but still keep in touch with your sister and try to find your identity outside of being the older sister, outside of being the one who has a plan, the mother of the group. Because the elder sister can also jump into this mommy mode where they feel like they have to provide, nurture, and provide. And it's like, really back. Reel it back. It's okay for you to invest in yourself. It is okay for you to not always be the one planning. Things are not going to fall apart if you're not planning. Take a step back, relax. It's okay for you to not always be in the imaginary kitchen helping everyone out. You can literally sit down and just sit there and relax and have people care for you. That's okay. That's allowed. Don't feel like you're being selfish because you're really not. You're really not, okay? As people like me who are not elder sister but have kind of experienced it a little bit, and I was like, this is not for me. I do commend you elder sisters out there. It's like, kudos to you, but it is okay for you to sit down. It's okay for you to relax. It's okay for you to be catered to. You don't always have to plan the stuff. You don't always have to initiate. You don't always have to check on everyone. Make sure everything is safe. Make sure, you don't always have to. It's fine for you to do it, but you don't always have to check behind everyone. It's actually okay for you to cool down, because these are usually and the same, but these are qualities that makes mothers so amazing. They're making sure everyone is safe. They're making sure the plan is in motion. They're making sure everybody's needs are met. But at the same time, a lot of women and a lot of mothers are complaining that they feel drained. They're tired. They're not supported because they're the only one who are doing the rearing and the caring and the nurturing, and it's tiring. It's tiring, and I would never suggest you be a mom. Well, this is different. I would never suggest you be a mom without you wanting to be a mother. This is different from you giving birth. I'm basically what I'm trying to say is that I would never suggest you be a mother to your siblings, because it can breed some resentment when you try to do that. And this is why it's like older sister, younger sister relationship are like so complex, but they're also really loving. And like every other relationship with women, it's full of complexities, full of nuances. It's not just right or wrong. It's not just do this and don't do that. It's a lot, and I understand that, and I can empathize with that and understand it, even though I'm not in that role. But what I really want to tell you is that it's okay for you to sit down. It's okay for you to not initiate. It's okay for you to withdraw a little bit and try to find out what type of woman you want to be. You're only 28. Like, okay, focus on your life. I know you have a best friend, and it's all right for you to love your sister more than your best friend. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's okay for your sister to seem as though she loves her best friend more than you. I don't actually think she does. It's just there's a different way of showing affection that is manifesting in this relationship. From what you've told me, it doesn't seem as though your sister actually does not love you. It just seems as though she's showing that love in a different way. And the way she's showing it, it's this is why I immediately delved into elder sister syndrome, because the way she's showing it is like she's showing her love to a parent. She barely wants to talk to you. She barely wants to engage. She's 21. So she's right off of that. She just finished her teenagehood. So it's giving me very much parent, mother, daughter, a mother who is prying for information out of her daughter and her daughter being dismissive. It doesn't mean the daughter doesn't love her mother. She's just showing her love differently. And that was kind of what entered my mind when I read the story, which is why I jumped into elder daughter syndrome. And which is why and that's also why my advice is surrounding you withdrawing, you taking care of yourself, you finding out a different hobby and taking it easy, because it can be very stressful. It can be very stressful to have to nurture everyone around you, make sure everyone around you is safe, make sure everything is going as it should. Like, as much as those are amazing qualities, I don't want to tell you that, no, seriously, those are amazing qualities. And if more people had those qualities, maybe the world would be better. I actually think the world would be better. However, it's also important for you to relax, take it easy, trust that the world is not going to blow up if you don't call your sister. She's going to be fine, okay? Trust that she is aware enough to live her life the way she wants to. And if she wants guidance, you're always there. She could call you, you're withdrawing, but you're not cutting her out of your life. You're just taking some of your energy back and investing it in yourself. And it's not selfish for you to do that. It is not selfish at all. Your upbringing may have pushed you more into the maternal, nurturing side. However, try to rebalance that and try to move back into the self-caring side, the self-nurturing side. And I actually think if you do that, your relationship with your sister will improve a lot more. Because yeah, I actually think if you do that, your relationship with your sister will improve a lot more. When you withdrawing and you allowing her and you giving her space, you'll be surprised by how much she's actually going to reach out to you once you withdraw. But keep doing therapy. I like that. I like that you and your sister are currently in therapy for your relationship. And don't be afraid if you're in a similar situation with your sister or sibling, is usually a younger sibling. Don't be afraid to ask them, how do they view you? Do they view you as a mother or as a sister? Because sometimes it can be difficult to put that into words. And if you're the only sister she has, she may just think that older sisters are supposed to act like second mothers, which they're not. So she might not really have something else to compare to, but don't be afraid to ask her how she views you and what she thinks of your relationship. You're here as her sister. You're another support for her, but you're not necessarily the mother. You are not necessarily the one that she should be relying to predominantly. I mean, maybe not predominantly, but can she rely on you? Yes. But should it be every single time? Absolutely not. You're her sister. You're here to guide her. You're here to help her as you can, but you also have your own life to live. And yeah. But my thoughts were so jumbled with that last story, but I think we're going to end it here today. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. And what did you think? What did you think of the first, second, and third story? The third story really touched my heart because it's like I've had a lot of friends who've had elder sister syndrome, and I too had it in a while. By the way, I'm not an elder sister, so I don't know, but I did live with younger children one point in time, and I did kind of feel the pressure of having to be correct and having to help everyone around me and protect them. Like, this weird maternal instinct developed in me that I didn't think I had, but in the same breath, I don't think anyone should be put in that situation, especially when they're young. It robs you of your childhood, it robs you of your youth, and it places you in situations where you're ill-equipped because you're still a child, you're not an adult, you really don't know what you're doing, and you're trying the very best that you can. I really don't like the fact that this does happen and it's across culture. So I think this is something we really have to talk about. But yeah, so the third story really touched my heart. But anyways, tell me which story you resonate with in the comment section of this video. Please don't forget to give us a like, subscribe if you like the channel. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, then please feel free to give us a review, preferably a 5-star review, and let us know what you thought of the episode. Lastly, we get our stories on our Gmail account, which is kitchentableadvice@gmail.com. That's where we get our stories and our business inquiries. So if you want to reach out to us, then preferably the YouTube comment section or email. I'll be lying to you if I say we look at our Instagram and TikTok. We do not. It's just one of those stuff. When we post a video there, it happens, okay? It's one of those random stuff. It's like a rainbow. All right. So that is it for this episode, and we see you next Sunday. Bye.